Good morning, world.
Good morning.
Today I got the hat.
And I have on the swim trunks.
Yes, you do.
For those who saw our last episode, Brian had a different pair. And I said, you know what? I like those. I need to get a pair. But
we didn't want to be twins, though.
No, don't be twins. I thought it's a damn shame that you can't find these in stores.
Yeah, it's too controversial.
Oh, jeez.
But you found that.
I didn't find this in a store. I had to order this.
Oh, okay.
You can't find the Stars and Stripes. You can't find anything patriotic in normal brick and mortar stores anymore. You have to order it online.
Crazy.
But that's not what we're talking about.
Nope. Today we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
The notorious RBG.
Yep.
Notorious.
So we have her picture adorning our set today. And we're going to be talking about that today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about fill the seat or not to fill the seat. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, Cedric, so as if 2020 wasn't an interesting enough year, now we have the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, it seems like well, not saying her passing, that's a sad thing, but whether or not to fill her seat now or later has gotten people a little emotional.
Holy fucking you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any fucking worse? Ruth! You just had to make it to 2021!
Okay, are we live? I'm trying not to laugh because usually Brian will save things he won't tell me about. He goes, I just want your natural response to when I show this clip. And we did an episode months ago talking about the things that kids say. Triggered.
Well, I like how she blames this 86 or 87-year-old woman for dying of cancer.
Why did you hold out? Why?
She should have stepped down during Obama when he was president for 8 years. If she would have stepped down, she was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer, 11 years ago, 9 or 11 years ago. So she knew that she would. I mean, that's one of the most deadly cancers there is.
And this goes without saying, we are not in no ways making fun of the passing of this lady.
No.
Who was a pillar. She did a lot of incredible things. We're talking about the reaction to it and how people... It's like this lady kind of forgot that someone has lost a mom, a grandmother, a close friend, and blaming her for not dying next year.
Because all they care about is the politics of it. And... she could have, and what I was alluding to is she could have stepped down. You don't have to serve until you die. You can step down and retire. There was a point where Obama had the Senate and he had the presidency.
Yes.
So if she would have stepped down, they could have filled it. Really easy. But then all the hypocrisy's coming out. Now they're trying to say that it's hypocritical for them to try to fill it, even though they have the presidency and the Senate. And when I say they... the Republicans, and now, of course, because of politics, and obviously this is all politics.
Yeah,
they think
everything is.
They're trying to pull out all the stops. So we have a montage of clips. So should we start with our favorite?
The very last dying wish of RBG was that her vacancy not be filled until the new president takes office in January. That was her dying wish. Tonight, Mitch McConnell publicly, the night of her passing, he couldn't wait 24 hours, issued a statement saying that he was going to give Trump a vote in violation of her dying wish. People can say how appalling, people could say this is horrible, etc. But we know who this man is. We know who this man is. This is a man who does not care about a dying woman's final wish.
So, I'm sorry. I for one, I don't even know how she got elected, but anyway, it's just a long litany of things that she says. So obviously we're going to base our Constitution. I was trying to...
I'm trying to be sensitive to it.
I know, but...
Where is dying wish in the Constitution?
And they try to make this sound like they're so compassionate and then this isn't political at all. Oh, Oh,
And it's sad, but it's like, I mean, and to be sensitive to it, if that was her dying wish, and I have yet to see any proof of that, was as she was laying on her deathbed, that was she reached out and said, "Please don't let anyone fill my spot until the next." And let's be honest, when they say the next president is elected in January, what they mean is if Biden is elected.
Right.
That's exactly what they mean.
Their contention is that, for one, if Justice Scalia, when he died, if he would have had a dying wish that said, "I wish that a Republican would be president for the rest of all eternity," it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Not to be insensitive, not to be heartless, but it doesn't matter.
No. And I mean, to go back that, I knew people, Democrats, who were applauding the fact that he died back then. Anyway, so AOC says her dying wish, and now the Democrats are all trying to play this. We shouldn't confirm, we've never said, Republicans have always said you shouldn't confirm, which is not true. But let's hear it from the mouths of Democrats.
Okay.
I made it absolutely clear that I would go forward with the confirmation process as chairman, even a few months before a presidential election, if the nominee were chosen with the advice and not merely the consent of the Senate, just as the Constitution requires.
So,
As spelled out in the Constitution of the United States of America.
yeah, and if you look back at history, there have been many, I believe 19 times that the president and the Senate were on the same side of the aisle,
Yes.
and 17 out of the 19 were put up and confirmed in an election year. So this is not unprecedented. Obviously, this is just partisan politics, and because they act like crying babies, like that girl at the beginning of the clip,
That was beyond crying.
since it's not their way, they're going to fight everything. They're going to do everything they can to fight this. So not just Joe Biden. He's not the only one who said it. But let's listen to some other prominent Democrats who talked about this just a mere 4 years ago.
Okay.
Okay? Let's see what that looks like.
The American people deserve a fully staffed court of 9.
The president nominates, and then the Senate advises and consents or not, but they go forward with the process.
What we're seeing here, and I hope this is temporary, is a disrespect for the Constitution.
The Constitution is 100% clear. The President of the United States has the right to nominate someone to be a justice of the Supreme Court. Senate's function is to hold hearings and to vote.
The blockade on filling a naturally occurring vacancy, in my view, is harmful to the independence of the Article III branch.
You cannot keep a seat on the Supreme Court, which represents all of us. You cannot keep it vacant against the Constitution.
Do pretty much everything they can to avoid acknowledging the legitimacy of our democratically elected president.
The American people expect the president's nominee to be given a fair hearing and a timely vote in the Senate.
Every day that goes by without a ninth justice is another day the American people's business is not getting done.
So, Cedric, that does not take into account the dying wish.
No, the dying wish, and again, we're not being cynical, we're not being facetious. The dying wish of a very great lady should not be taken into consideration with this.
No, again, it's I'm going to take the ball and go home.
Right.
That's what this is. It's because they don't have the power right now. They're going to fight.
We must consider, again, all of the tools available to our disposal, and that all of these options should be entertained and on the table.
Mentioned the possibility, if they try to push through a nominee in a lame duck session, that you in the House could move to impeach President Trump or Attorney General Barr as a way of stalling and preventing the Senate from acting on this nomination.
Well, we have our options. We have arrows in our quiver that I'm not about to discuss right now. But the fact is, we have a big challenge in our country.
Her hair looks great.
Challenge in our country. 10 states, as I said, on Friday, started their early voting the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility.
Her eyes got all,
Oops.
you were supposed. Let's focus on my hair. I went to the salon and how nice my hair looks.
So here's what we have. So Nancy Pelosi is third in line for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden is running to be the president. They both seem to be having some difficulty. We shouldn't laugh. But a couple other things that Nancy Pelosi and some of the Democrats said is that they threatened, I don't have a clip for this, but they've threatened that if Trump goes through with this and the Senate confirms it, that when they take power again, they will make Washington, D.C. a state, they will make Puerto Rico a state because they want to pack more senators, and they said that they will take the Supreme Court and bring it to 13 so they can just pack it with as many as they want.
Isn't it like when you're a kid and things don't go your way, you change the rules in handball or foursquare, and it's like, well, I'm changing the rule. Now you can do double hits and double tappies.
Yeah. So if you're playing against somebody and that's their skill, it's like, nope, that's not allowed anymore.
Right. It's a damn shame.
So piggybacking on that, and you can look that up, they literally are threatening, like a terrorist, that if we don't get our way, when we get power, we're changing the rules.
Right.
So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who this whole thing is about, she had something to say about that.
I have heard that there are some people on the Democratic side who would like to increase the number of judges. I think that was a bad idea when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried to pack the court. If anything would make the court appear partisan, it would be that. One side saying, when we're in power, we're going to enlarge the number of judges, so we will have more people who will vote the way we want them to.
So let's talk about what AOC said about her dying wish. So we're supposed to assume that, and again, it doesn't matter if it's her dying wish, that she didn't want it filled under Trump. They're threatening to put more judges, more states, to fill it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who we're supposed to be honoring, herself says, you're not supposed to change the rules.
Can't change the rules.
Because what's going to happen then? Then we're going to be just living under dictators.
Right.
So when a dictator on one side, when a Republican does it, they're going to just make all their rules. When a Democrat, they'll make all their rules. And it's not the way checks and balances were supposed to work. You can't just change the rules to say, no, we're in power now. We're going to make sure we have all the power. That's not... The United States has worked because of all the checks and balances. It's because there's a lot of gridlock. We don't want the country doing this. And so that's the beauty of the country. And for the Democrats to threaten to do something like that, in and itself should scare even you Democrats.
Right. And for what it's worth, I was talking to a friend of mine about this just a few days ago, about the electoral process, and this person had the same ideology. They said that, well, we should wait until the election in November. And not knowing how the electoral process works, I said, well, how long after the election should we wait? You think late November, December, early January? She goes, in December. I said, great. So whoever's elected president, we should wait until December to make that decision, right? She's like, yes. I said, you do realize no matter how the elections turn out in November, Trump is still the president until like January 20th. And she got the same bug-eyed look that Pelosi got. And I said, was your real response is that you want to wait and see if Biden gets into office before you change it? Is that what you really meant to say, but you just didn't want to say it?
Yeah, because basically, let's be real. They want Biden to become president, and then they want the Senate to flip, because that's what they're hoping for. So then they can pick their judge. So because they don't have power at the moment, they want to hold off. Wink, wink. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's unfortunate that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. It happens. It happened like that screaming lunatic. It happened before the election was over. Guess what? The Republicans do have power now. They're playing by the rules. They should pick the judge, and it should go forward. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, hopefully whoever gets elected as a government official will have the American people's wants, needs, and desires at heart, regardless if they're Republican or Democrat. We just have to trust the process.
The Supreme Court justices are supposed to rule according to the Constitution. They're not supposed to legislate from the bench. But that's what, especially on the left, they want to legislate things from their perspective on the left. On the right, of course, things aren't going to always go your way, but they actually go, like let's take Roe Let's be
Roe
honest.
versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade is basically why these people are going nuts. They think that this is going to overturn Roe versus Wade. For one, I don't think that's going to happen because I think there's only one judge that would even think about doing that, and that's Justice Thomas.
Okay.
I think he's probably the only one that would lean that way. But let's say, worst case scenario for liberals, that they overturn Roe versus Wade. Does that mean you can't get abortions? No, that's not what Roe versus Wade. It goes back to the states. It would go back to the states, and you would have states that say, yes, it's okay here. And like the Louisiana, I think, case that was just, in fact, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was instrumental in that. They wanted to change within their state. She said, no, that you can't do that. So it would go back to the states, but I don't think that would happen anyway. So the people that are freaking out, because that always comes back to Roe versus Wade when it comes to the Supreme Court. Since I can remember everything that's had to do with the Supreme Court and who sided on, it all goes back to that.
Yeah.
All goes back to Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
And if you're a conservative, of course, the conservatives who that's their number one, especially the religious conservatives, they think that that was an unconstitutional decision anyway.
Right.
So yes, they do want to go back, but again, it doesn't say you can't have it. It goes back to, remember, we're a republic. It'll go back to the states. But again, even if a conservative judge gets on the court, I don't believe that's going to get overturned anyways, because you've seen in these past cases, you had 5 appointed by Republicans and 4, but even those ones that were appointed by Republicans, they were siding with the Democrats anyway. So I don't think you'd have to worry about that. But guess what? If what the Democrats wanted and said, oh, we're going to put 13 justices on there, which what they're threatening, guess what? So it goes from 9 to 13. They're going to have 4 that are very left-leaning progressive judges. They will try to legislate from the bench.
Right.
So, again, the country's going to go up in flames again for now more than just the election. Now we've got the whole Supreme Court thing. Now Democrats are actually threatening to do things which even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, come on, don't do that.
Yeah. I think if, and again, what me and Brian want to say before we sign off here is that our condolences out to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her family, her friends. We lost a pillar in the community, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
But let's honor her memory and do what's right. And she was a Supreme Court justice. She did things the right way. She didn't always like it. She won some things. She lost some things. But she said, no, I'm going to do what's right for the American people. And she was a very big pillar in the community when it comes to women and women's rights. We need to continue honoring that. The pillaging, the looting, the rioting, the burning, the threatening, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. But until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share this video with everyone you know. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. I'll see you later.